um, that can be a problem. But yeah, what I found enjoyable about season one was just, and again, it was just kind of setting the template, and it wasn't anything spectacular, but just the continuity, right, between from the show bridging over to Captain America, and then back to the Avengers, I guess, was just enjoyable. I don't even know what was the second Captain America called.
Winter Soldier.
Was it just Winter Soldier? Okay,
Yeah, I mean that was cool that it did tie into the Avengers. Like the only thing that I really grasped from like season one from Agents of Shield was like maybe the last two episodes like were pretty interesting, and Nick Fury makes an appearance, and then I believe in season one or season two you see Maria Hill, who also makes an appearance. And then one of the reasons I really like only wanted to see Agents of Shield is I've only read like 2 Inhuman comic books, so I kind of wanted to like watch Agents of Shield just to get like a better picture of who the Inhumans are, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm like only into episode 3 of season 2 of Agents of Shield. And now they're in like season 4 where like I heard Ghost Rider comes up and all that.
Yeah, it's a little tough for me to put together like what, I don't want to say like what the plan is, but like, so they brought Mockingbird on last season, right? And now they're bringing on Ghost Rider, and maybe that's just a pool of like that's what their storyline is binding together, is like these Avenger adjacent heroes in the Marvel universe who are not quite Avengers, but are also not like so street level that they're with the Marvel Knights, or what Netflix is going to do as the Defenders.
Is Mockingbird, is she an Inhuman, or is that something completely okay?
I think she's just another kind of like
okay.
Kind of like Hawkeye was, right? Just an agent with a very particular specialized set of skills.
Okay. One thing I'm hoping to see is I don't even know if it's possible, maybe one of the X-Men characters having a cameo in like Agents of Shield or something like that.
I mean, by license, they're barred from any of that collaboration. But I mean,
okay,
it's always possible the show will be on the air long enough that we'll see some of that start to go away. Never know. I mean, we got Superman in an Avengers flick, right? Which we all thought would probably never happen. I would dare to say.
What, Superman?
Spider-Man. Did I say Superman?
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, which did I miss? I was like, wow, that's quite the crossover.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know what Google hole like dropped down into, but something I wound up researching something, and it caused me to, maybe it was just one of the comics I was reading. One of the comics, because one of the like current like up to date comics I was reading was by a guy. So I don't know if Jerry Conway came out of retirement to do some guy who used to be an author of comics that I read like in the 80s, is the writer on like a Rebirth book in DC, and so I saw the name, right, and I was like, there's no way that that guy is writing this comic. And I went back and looked him up, and I want to say it was Gary Conway, and so I, so he was a guy who was around when DC and Marvel did try these like Justice League Avengers crossovers, um, and there was at least one time, maybe twice, where they had pulled it off, but in the one he was involved in, the entry on either the Marvel Wikia or his Wikipedia page indicated, it just, the personalities and the egos involved, as you would think, right, would occur. The whole deal, like they got it started and worked on it for a while, but then the whole deal like just fell apart. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Going back to those days.
Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's one thing that I haven't like fully like understood in Agents of Shield too is Daisy or Sykes, or I mean more knownly in the comics as Quake. Like I'm pretty sure she's supposed to have some superpowers, right? But I haven't seen her in season 2 like do any of that stuff really.
I think that's coming. I think you just haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, I gotta get into Agents of Shield.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because there's all these things that, like there's different quality thresholds, right? And for me, I know for me, a lot of it's been time, but like I just didn't feel that like Gotham was good enough, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't like Gotham.
Terrible.
It's so
but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, when you say terrible, Jonathan, have you when did you fall off, and when was the last time you checked back in?
I haven't checked back in. I left it maybe 4 or 5 episodes after Jerome died, quote unquote. So I thought he was a highlight of the series. I really liked how season 2 started off. I was surprised. I kind of look at each show that I watch each week and say, okay, which one really got me this week? And
right.
Season 2, just every week I was like, wow, this is better than Flash and Arrow, and I was like, wow, this is really good. I was shocked. And it was all because the performance of Cameron Moynihan as Jerome, who was basically Joker. And then once they got rid of that and went back to, Fish Mooney possibly is going to come back, which she is now, I was like, oh no, I can't. And then I forgot which episode it was, but something happened with like Penguin and his mom, and I was just like, yeah, no, I'm clocking out.
So that's one of those shows I'm going to go back and I'm just going to start at the beginning and just stick with it. I've checked back in on a couple of the episodes at the end of last season, which I think last season was season 3, and they were good. Like they were remarkably good. And like I said, so I have this sense, even though it may not be historically accurate, that the show just kind of has peaks and valleys, and I just want to go through and watch the whole thing and see what I come away. It's a premise that's hard for me to choke down, right? It's like we're gonna do a Batman show, but we're not gonna have Batman.
Exactly.
And we're gonna, we're gonna postulate that actually all of the villains in Gotham, existed in some manner before he showed up. When in the comics, like one of the principal takes, and the same in some of the movies, right, is that the appearance of Batman escalates this whole the frequency of appearance of these like super strange characters in Gotham, right? That his presence actually makes people less inhibited, right, about realizing those types of kooky personalities. So I don't know. It's a weird take. Any of you guys watch the Flash premiere this week?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was better than Arrow's. But again, it's a premiere. It's just really setting you up. But I thought the Flashpoint thing, I knew that it was going to be long. It wasn't going to be long, but I was expecting maybe 2 or 3 episodes within that kind of fantasy land that Barry was in. And it was short, like really short. But now it's just like, okay, what are the repercussions of doing what he did? I'm interested in. I mean, but I'm just tired with the Flash and Arrow. My big problem now, 3 seasons, about not fully 3 seasons in, but a 3rd season into Flash and now a 5th for Arrow, is that I feel like they kind of, it's almost like a retread, and they just kind of the only thing they really improve upon, like work on, is like the characterization of the main characters that matter to the audience. Really, like it'll be Ollie, obviously, and Arrow. It'll be Felicity, and that kind of love triangle type thing. With Flash, it's Barry, and now you have Wally. They kind of work on those things, but then the villains are always, oh, let's have another speedster in Flash or an Arrow. Now it's another Archer. It's like, can we have a little diversity with the villains? Like, why can't you go into Gorilla Grodd and Flash already?
See, I feel like Arrow does a much better job of that than Flash. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Like Flash is, so the first season his challenge was a speedster who was arguably faster than him, right? And he figured out a way to beat him. In season 2,
Right.
the big villain is a speedster who's moderately faster than him, and he figures out a way to beat him, right?
Yeah.
And we, and I hope it's not a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it. I think the previews and the trailers and everything allude to it, but we're speedster heavy in season 3 as well, and I'm just like, when you read the Flash comic book, like there's a healthy smattering of speedsters, and we get that, but that's not his only threat, and actually, obviously, the more interesting ones are the ones where it's something other than a speedster. So, one thing I'll say is, like, thank goodness for like the acting chops of that cast.
Yes.
Because
definitely. And the other thing that keeps me hooked on the Flash also, like Flash does a great job with the emotional beats like that. I mean, it always, for some reason, just like stabs me in the heart each week, for whatever reason. I think it does a really good job with there. But yeah, I agree. The casting is really, really good. The performances from week to week are really just like like they're really good, especially with Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin. I mean, that's not saying much between those two, but I mean, yeah. I think Jesse L. Martin, who plays Detective West, he's really good. But yeah, I agree with.
I've been quiet because I'm a season behind on Agents of Shield, and I don't watch any of the other DC shows on TV. So I'm enjoying the conversation though.
Yeah. I like the CW shows, but
Oh.
Yeah, what were you gonna say, Dave?
Okay, yeah, I don't know. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say, honestly, how do you feel overall with the DC TV shows versus the DC movies? Because I haven't seen Suicide Squad, and I saw Batman vs Superman, but what I've heard is people just do not think that they're cutting anywhere close to the level of the TV shows.
Yeah, Batman v Superman, I didn't like. The first time I didn't like it. I came out of it. It felt overstuffed and things like that. And then I saw it a second time toward the end of the summer. I said, let me give it another try. Maybe I'll see it differently. And I kind of had the same view of it. But I did have a feeling of like I want to see it again, which was weird. I was like, I didn't have that feeling the first time through. Suicide Squad, I loved. I've seen that 4 times already. I really, really liked it. I see the problems people have with it, but I do think for what it was, I think it was really good. So I would give Suicide Squad a shot.
But overall, how would you say the TV shows?
But yeah, the TV shows definitely are much better. Much better. They're lighter. They don't take themselves the movies take themselves way too seriously.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of one thing that bothers me.
I just want to see a lighter Superman, and we're gonna see Superman on Supergirl tomorrow. So we'll see what their take is of Superman.
Gotta make sure my DVR is set for that. I actually do watch Supergirl. It's the
Supergirl's
only DC
good.
TV show I watch.
It's really good. I like that show.
It's fun.
The first 8 episodes of that show bothered me because I was like, all right, yeah, I'm all for having a female superhero finally on TV, and I was just like, all right, don't ram it down our throats. But then when they made her badass and all that, and they introduced Martian Manhunter and stuff, I was like, yes, this is it. This is exactly what I want. And they stuck with that through the rest of the year, and it was really strong. So I like Supergirl a lot. I'm really excited for that show to come. It's coming back, but it'd be nice finally where they can actually use Superman, and they don't have to have him where he's IMing Kara, and he's just like a little. He's like a dot in the distance, like teasing you. So at least you can see him fighting with her now, which is gonna be really cool.
Yeah, or yeah, totally. Have you guys been reading the Flintstones at all?
No.
I haven't. No.
Oh man, guys, you're killing
Is it
me.
good? I gotta.
Oh yeah, God, it is insane how remarkably on point it is with its modern social commentaries.
Wow.
I
gotta
mean,
check it out.
the first couple episodes. I mean, they deal with or episodes, comics. they deal with some pretty heavy stuff like exploitation of native species or cultures that aren't as advanced.
I already read the first two are the only ones I've read, and then after that it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I really like the social commentary of it all.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah,
But
let me double check.
One show that I have to talk about because
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for you to bring it up.
I have to talk. It's Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah,
that's my favorite show on TV.
I've watched a couple episodes, and I think it's pretty good.
It's so good. How far? Season 1? How far?
Yeah, just like a couple of season 1.
Okay. It picks up once you hit episode 6. That's when it picks up, because the first 4 is about like it's a lot of setup. The first 4 episodes, and then I think from there, episode 6 on, I think that's when it just really grabs you. So, season 2 is insane.
Season 3.
Season 3 has been consistent, like remarkably consistent. I'm
enjoying it so far.
I like it. I like it. It hasn't there hasn't been that jaw-dropping moment yet. But knowing Rebels, they do that to you. Because even with season 2, it was just like, okay, oh, we got, Ahsoka's back, we're getting the band back together, and then they just throw everything in your face all at once.
I think part of me is I don't really know like a lot of the extended Star Wars universe. So somebody
you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yeah, Rebels is awesome in that way.
It's brand new. It's its own thing. A lot of the old extended universe, has now been moved into Legends. So, I mean, the only things that matter currently are the 3 original, the prequel, the Clone Wars series, the current stuff that's being worked on, and then Rebels. And then there's some there's also some novels and comic books that from Marvel, and I can't remember who publishes the novels, but you don't need an extensive background in Star Wars to watch it and say, hey, this is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been like remarkably consistent.
I should have known that this heresy would have kicked in as soon as I walked away from the mic.
No, it really has, and I've reflected that in my first 2 columns on Rebels. Is that it's been 8s so far, and I don't do halves my scores anymore. I do just the full, like it'll be 8, 9. So 8 for me is great. 9 is like masterpiece. That's when I see the lightsaber duels happening. That's when I'll drop a 9, but which hasn't happened yet, so it's not happening until I see that. Yeah, I mean, it's so good. I mean, I like I keep saying, it's 3 seasons in, and I'm still shocked that a cartoon is making me happy each week.
Yeah, back to Flintstones, John. Yes. I think you'd particularly enjoy issue number 4.
Okay.
I think that's when it really gets into that just on point social commentary.
I gotta definitely.
That came out on the 5th.
Okay, I'm gonna look at this. Yeah. Some new shows. They're not comic booky at all, but I've been enjoying them. Is Designated Survivor. Kiefer Sutherland's on it. He's playing the president. Basically, well, he was the designated survivor. The Capitol building blows up during the State of the Union, and he's the only one left. It's kind of a crazy like scenario, but I feel last week's episode really hit its stride. Finally, I was waiting for it because the first two episodes were kind of like, okay, what's the point of this? I was just watching it for Kiefer Sutherland. And then last week's episode, really, I was like, okay, this is good. I got hooked on it. And then this past Monday, Conviction with Haley Atwell, who played Peggy Carter. She's playing basically a damaged kind of attorney. Like she would do, she does like cocaine, and she has like a background. It's very interesting. I liked it. And Haley Atwell was awesome as an actress. So, and Sean Astin, who played Iceman in X-Men.
Right.
Yeah, he's in it. He's pretty. And the girl who played, she was on Walking Dead. I can't think of her name. She was the blonde. That really narrows it down.
Emily.
I know she
Henning?
died. She liked Daryl for a time.
Yeah, Emily.
Her
Emily
dad. Yes, I think that's who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on it too. And
Had
she
you-
kind of plays. She always plays. She plays that role well of like that kind of like shy, quiet girl, and she does it here in the show too. So it's another show worth checking out.
Do you watch Empire, Jonathan?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think I can handle all the singing,
Yeah.
but I heard it's good.
It is Trey Byers, who is playing a bipolar somebody who suffers from bipolar disorder. At a minimum, he's probably got like 3 or 4 of those things chunked in.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'll give psychologists. They are absolutely awesome at like creating labels for multiple disorders, all of which overlap each other by like 50%. So whenever you have one, it like automatically must mean that you have like the other 9. He is doing, and we've only watched the first 2 episodes of this season. But I think if he has to kind of as an actor work his way through this particular thread for his character, and I know it won't happen just because of the way that institution works, but I feel like already 2 episodes in, like he's working himself up towards an Emmy.
Wow.
Like just the types of things he's having to portray are just, I don't know. He's doing special work. I gotta say.
I gotta check it out.
Have any of you seen the trailer now for Power Rangers?
Yes.
I have not, but I'll let you guys talk about this. I'm just I'm a Power Ranger. I'm a Power Ranger naysayer. I just can't.
I'm not a fan either. Sorry.
I've never been a fan. I never watched it. Could care less. But I really like the trailer. And Bryan Cranston's in it, so I'm in. He's probably gonna have a really small role, but anything he's involved in, is worth checking. I like the tone though. I was surprised when I watched it. I thought it was gonna be like that crazy kind of like a kung fu type things a cartoon was like, but it was nothing like that at all. I was like, wow, this is different. Really different.
I guess me and Brad Bell are the only ones that are really fans of the GWW.
There's a huge Power Rangers following on the GWW, and that's like I don't get it. Like not because of the GWW, but like I've just never so I grew up in this era, right? And I don't know if this is a thing of like the later variants of the cartoon were like less campy or less cheesy than the original, but like for me as a kid, that thing dropped when like we had Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Silverhawks, right? It dropped in the midst of all that, and it also dropped at a time like people won't remember this. I bring it up quite frequently. Peter might, but like, okay, so the year like 1985, I want to say, maybe 84, like there was this inexplicable, unexplained. Those 2 words mean the same thing. There was this just like no notice cessation to the notion of Saturday morning action comics, like action cartoons. Like there were no like trailers or commercials that talked about like the action cartoons of Saturday morning in the summer lead up to that season, and like I just, and my brother and I distinctly remember that we just sat down in front of our TV at like the normal weekend that we thought these things would debut, and like nothing came on. Like there was like the Bullwinkle stuff like came on, and then like and the way our schedule ran, that stuff would come on. We'd walk away for like 30 minutes or whatever, and then we'd come back, and like Super Friends would start at like 8 o'clock. Like turn on the TV at 8 o'clock, no Super Friends, right? Then there was always a lull between like Super Friends and the next thing because it was like the Smurfs at 9 o'clock, right? So we would walk away, we would come back, nothing, and we went through that for like 3 weeks, kind of like insane people, right? Expecting different results, and then from like 1983 or 84 until really it pretty much ended the notion of action cartoons on Saturday mornings like forever. Like after that time, this whole notion of like Saturday being nothing but action cartoons from like 6 a.m. till noon never really was recreated, right? And it just stopped abruptly. So at any rate, my point being is the next major great era of television occurred in the late 80s, when, like I said, there was a resurgence where you had, it started with GoBots. As horrible as GoBots were, they got it started, but shortly thereafter, in ensuing seasons, like I said, then you got all these Rankin and Bass cartoons and Hasbro cartoons, and then so my point is, when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers dropped, it was originally a Saturday morning thing, and we had no interest because that era had come to an end, right? And then they rolled them into the afternoon timeline, but then we were like, I was like, why would I watch that when there are all these other like great cartoons on that are, in my opinion, they were less campy. But sorry, I stole a lot of time to explain why I'm not into Power Rangers.
No, it's good. I'm sure viewers wanted to know. It's always good to hear the other side of the coin. Honestly, I think the movie looks trash. It's totally, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think Hollywood is totally undoing the whole what Power Rangers stood for. You know, these good kids, Jason Lee Scott, who I think is I think that's the actor who plays, I think Jason is his name. Anyways, they're just these good kids, and it's all about morals, and you know, it's comedic, and it's optimistic. And then I see this trailer, and it's all these renegade kids, you know, that have all these issues in high school, and it's dark, and oh my gosh, and like the Power Rangers have superpowers where they can jump off of cliffs, like without being in their Mighty Morphin suits. And I'm just thinking, my gosh, how badly have they like warped this? And I'm reading the comics, and the comics are like really true to what the original Power Rangers were about. And honestly, I'm one of those people that think like, other than the first 4 seasons of Power Rangers, everything else doesn't even compare. So this trailer is just like, it's just totally, it does not, if they're trying to cater to for people that grew up in the 90s, like, I don't think any of my friends like feel the same about it. I mean, maybe if they're trying to cater to a new generation.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Well, it's interesting, it's surprising. So it sounds like, Dave, you're kind of a purist, and if Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is coming back, you want to see it rendered true to its format and spirit, you know, when you were watching it. And it sounds like it doesn't surprise me, because I think there have been rumblings that this was going to happen the whole time, that if Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was to come back in movie format, it would be a darker, kind of more adult a tangent. But from what you're saying, it sounds like they've kind of Frank Millered it and maybe BVS'd it a little too much. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing that totally like blew my mind away. I mean, you see like Rita as this like witch that's floating above one of the Power Rangers' bed, and she's all like, you know, it just makes her like so much more different, and like I don't know, like you don't see any Zordon, or I forget what the robot's name was at all. It's just it was just like wow, and there's no mention of the Green Ranger. And from what I've heard, like the Green Ranger is supposed to be Rita or something like that. So I'm just like, oh wow.
So who's the actress that's playing Rita again?
Who is it? She's super well known.
Yeah, is it Elizabeth Banks?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. She is that lady in Hunger Games.
Right.
Yeah.
And many Seth Rogen films. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. So you guys were able to keep it going for longer than the 30 minutes we were kind of targeting. Is there anything else we need to talk about this week? Sounds like it was a big TV episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
As one might expect in the week that a lot of these shows hit their season premieres, and we still have the Supergirl premiere to get through tomorrow night as well, and The Walking Dead coming later this month.
Oh, that's what it was. I saw that one of the first Iron Fist trailers dropped recently.
Oh.
Right.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't seen it yet either.
It's pretty okay.
Good.
It looks pretty fun. I'm underselling it. It looks like it's going to be another good Netflix Marvel show.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be solid.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, and it's interesting.
I just want Daredevil.
Like, I don't know that those Marvel shows need to be anything more, right? Than just solid, right?
Yeah.
They don't need to be. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate, right? Avengers, by definition, now must be this spectacle, right? It's got to be this close to 3-hour assembly. Like, you otherwise, like, there's no point in doing it now, and they've set that benchmark, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you could do the next Captain America movie and make that subtle, right? You could do the next Captain America movie and make that, Captain America as U.S. agent or a secret Avenger, and just make it him, like, surviving on his own. You could twist a lot of these Marvel movies in different directions, but these shows are kind of decidedly understated to a certain extent. Their events only have impact, like, within the street levels of Manhattan, and so I don't know that they need to be anything super big or huge or anything. They just need to be quietly solid. So I don't know. All right, guys, well, thanks a lot. That's a good episode too. I want to say these shows are going amazingly well with little to no preparation. I don't know. So maybe that's what it'll just be. It'll just be like a Sunday night, like, fireside chat, right? With 4 dudes who love comics, movies, games, TV, and tech. So who knows?
We do need to get some tech in here, though.
Yeah. No doubt.
Maybe next week.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, we could have. We could have tracked along with a lot of the news and events, right? The Google Pixel stuff, which
I'm interested in.
I'm not a huge fan. They've taken away that sweet price point of the Nexus, and now I'm like, I'm not paying the same. If you're not going to be something differentiated from the iPhone in price, then, like, that's just another thing that I'm going to buy that's going to make me angry about, like, how much I'm going to charge for it, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I do miss the Nexus price point with it. But as far as tech goes, they seem to be pretty solid. And it's nice to see Google, taking the reins of Android.
They do. But the designs are like, the design of the Pixel is very much a telegraph of the iPhone design.
Yeah, I would agree.
And unfortunately, the other weird thing. Here's a big contention I have with the media, right? Who are covering those things. Everybody talks about like the 6P was not a premium phone, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It was
Yeah,
all metal
seriously.
construction, great screen, fingerprint scanner in the back, a better implementation than Apple.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't. People who talk about people, it's this revisionist history thing, right? Of like, oh, now the Pixel has dropped, so like the 6P was secretly crap the whole time, and I'm like, no, the 6P was an incredible phone. It was a great phone for $399. There was no need on the market from Google for anything more premium than the 6P. It was completely fine. And the 1-2 punch of the 6P and the 5X, like, I don't, the Pixel's not a sufficient replacement for me for that, for the astronomical price that they're charging for it.
All right, it's my turn to be the tinfoil hat. All right, this is how they got Samsung to stay on with Android.
Oh yeah, well, and not just Samsung, right? But like
Yeah.
lots of Android
HTC,
manufacturers,
LG.
right? It's the same play Microsoft had to make, right?
Yeah.
Microsoft launched the Surface, and to keep everybody from like losing their crap and like abandoning Windows, although there wasn't really anything else for them to go to, they had to set the Surface at a price that made it not a budget tablet, right?
Yeah.
And so I get that. I completely get that. But the notion that it's anything other than that being suggested, by some journalists just kind of grates me the wrong way. And unfortunately for me as an Android user, it just means like it's highly likely I'm not buying another Google phone. Right? I mean, I'll definitely be looking at like the OnePlus. I had a ZTE Axon Pro last year. I used an Asus Zenfone. But my big thing is I want something with 128 gigs of storage, and I'm not paying. Well, I don't know. I'll see what my device mix looks like next year, but it makes the Google Pixel a highly unlikely choice.
I may if I switch over to Google Fi, but it's not going to be for another year or two.
Right. All right. All right, everybody. Well, we've gone a little long, so we're going to go ahead and pack it in and get out of here. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining in. If you watched it live or if you check this video out later, we do appreciate it. The GWW Weekly is a weekly or bi-weekly, some kind of show where 4 dudes get together, or 4 people get together. It might be dudes. It might be dudettes at some point as we get the rotation going. It's agnostic to that kind of thing. But we'll either be covering things more specifically, or we'll just be kind of kicking it old school style on a Sunday night like we have the last couple of weeks, until some of these shows and video games and stuff get out of my way and I can actually do an agenda.
We don't need no stinking agenda.
So thanks so much for joining in. As always, you can catch us at Comic Book 90, at Wordy Nerdy, at Edrickson_Caro, or at Agasicles Stamus on Twitter. Did I get it right, Peter?
Yeah, you were good.
All right, cool. So check us out on Twitter. Look for announcements when the show is going live, and look for hopefully the posts on the website once I can get caught up on that too. Thanks so much for joining in. We are signing off, and we're out of here.